Now, breaking right now, Wes Streeting has banned puberty blockers for all under 18s in the UK. That's the Health Secretary, leading the brilliant, brave Father Ted creator Graham Linehan, the man who lost everything to claim that the gender critical movement has won. But I would say it's one step forward, two giant steps backwards. Because on the same day, the UK's independent press regulator, they're not quite as bad as the off-communists, but they're up there, Ipso, has forced The Spectator, the oldest periodical in the world, to apologise after its brilliant writer Gareth Roberts. You might remember Gareth was outrageously axed from the Doctor Who writing team for expressing his views on the trans debate as a gay man, described Juno Dawson as a man who claimed to be a woman. We'll debate this in just one moment with Father Phil and Alan Miller, but I think it's worth me setting out what Michael Gove, the new editor of The Spectator, had to say about this. So Gove writes, on the 21st of May this year, we published an article by the brilliant writer Gareth Roberts, headlined The Sad Truth About St. Nicholas Sturgeon. Gareth was reporting on the former Scottish First Minister's appearance at a literary festival in Sussex. Ms. Sturgeon was discussing the controversies which had attended her time in office, including her views on independence and gender recognition laws. Gareth noted that she was interviewed by writer Juno Dawson, a man who claims to be a woman, and so the conversation naturally turned to gender. Juno Dawson subsequently complained about those words to Ipso. It was claimed the words were inaccurate, a breach of Section 1 of the Editor's Code which governs inaccuracy, a breach of Section 3 which covers harassment, and a breach of Section 12.1 which holds that the press must avoid prejudicial or pejorative references to an individual's race, colour, religion, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, or to any physical or mental illness or disability. Ipso found there was no breach of Section 1 or 3. Gareth's words were not inaccurate and were not harassment, but they concluded that they were a breach of 12.1. In its judgment, the article had included a reference in the complainant's gender identity that the committee considered to be both pejorative and prejudicial. The committee had expressed its concerns that this reference was personally belittling and demeaning towards the complainant. Given the nature of the breach, the appropriate remedial action was the publication of an upheld adjudication. Now, Gove says we publish what Ipso requires of us, but I am in no doubt that this is an outrageous decision offensive to the principle of free speech and chilling in its effect on free expression. And look, this is chilling in so many ways. Alan Miller of the Together Declaration, let me come first to you. Surely this was just the moment for Michael Gove and The Spectator to say, we are out. We are out. Because they have stated a biological fact and have had to publish a censure in their own magazine. Now, Ipso is not a government regulator. There's nothing forcing The Spectator to stay a part of this sham.
Absolutely. I'm reminded of Je suis Charlie for Charlie Hebdo, who were brutally attacked and everyone was standing up saying, oh, we are Charlie as well. We'll stand for free speech and free expression. And you think, it's cowardice, really, if we cannot stand up to uphold our own free speech and our ability, and nowhere more than in our journalistic fraternity. We've seen so many measures clamping down, suffocating free speech and censorship. And this speaks to your point about the mainstream media as well, Dan. Now, I'm a great respecter of The Spectator, but I do think that the more that we allow this ability to be stifled and suffocated and censored, that is going to just deaden society further. And we all have a duty, we have a responsibility to things way beyond just ourselves, to our society, to our way of life, to our children, to everyone, to uphold the freedoms that we are the custodians of. And we've got to speak freely, and we've got to be able to call a thing what it is. People can decide whatever they want about how they want to live their lives. I'm quite libertarian about all of that. But it's very important that we are able to state things. And there's nothing that's more basic than what is a man and what is a woman. And the fact that people have been cancelled, they've been terrorized, they've had all of their their job prospects and their work and their whole situation diminished. And the fact that we've got all sorts of editorial controllers, and now that this measure has been done, is absolutely unacceptable, right? And all around us, we see this madness of men fighting women in a boxing ring, the BBC championing men football player. I mean, what is going on, right? And there's an element of this with the Emperor's New Clothes, right? The more that we get the public involved, and the more that the public say, "Are you joking? Are you kidding? Where did you make this up?" Then that is the ability. That is how we get this turned. And what's happened, though, is
because
that
just a few years ago, Alan, you would probably be called transphobic if you were against the idea of puberty blockers for 14-year-olds or 16-year-olds. Well, it's illegal now.
It's brilliant news. That bit's brilliant news. And the fact is that the abuse that's been heaped onto our children, right? This is the thing that's so disingenuous and so dishonest. And we have a moral and ethical duty to our children to protect and defend them. If people want to make decisions as adults when they've got their faculties and they decide to do things, you know, one might disagree, whatever. But the idea that children were having this, and also that they were having it, they were being engaged and manipulated and told to do things and by adults, and then not have their parents involved as well. I mean, all these things are absolutely unacceptable.
Yep, totally. And by the way, well done also, because I've only mentioned the gay men fighting for this so far, but well done to Sharon Davies and J.K. Rowling, who also lost so much to argue this point. But Father Phil, just before I come to you, I want to read out just a little bit of the Daily Telegraph editorial today that has also come out against this decision. The newspaper writes, by deciding to rule in favour of Dawson on this matter, Ipso risks a chilling effect on the ability of gender-critical voices to express their views and make the strongest arguments available to them, including the argument that a legal change of gender does not alter biological reality. It would have been far better if the regulator had chosen to remain above the fray rather than weighing in. Now, again, I completely agree with the Daily Telegraph's point there, Father Phil, but don't they have to get out? Because otherwise they are accepting that this type of censorship is appropriate. And at GB News, for example, I think they made a real mistake by always saying, oh, no, we love the off-communists. We think they're great and we want to be regulated. No, we don't, because regulation means free speech being taken away. And if these bodies are going to remain part of Ipso, I don't think they can claim to care about free speech.
I think you're absolutely right. And there's another point that maybe we haven't hit on. So this argument was over Gareth reporting on the fall of Nicola Sturgeon around her gender recognition laws. And so how do you, when this reporting, which was seemingly problematic by Juno Dawson, when Juno reported that, there is an element of bias here, because she is a man who claims to be a woman. How can Gareth report on this without falling foul of 12.1? You cannot. It's just impossible to report on it, because he's highlighting that there is maybe bias in the reporting. And so there's no way that he can report without falling foul of 12.1. So Ipso doesn't work. And obviously Ipso was set up as in opposition to a state-regulated, free speech. And God help us if that had been the case. But, people now have to just go, hang on, we can't have these ridiculous controls. And they are ridiculous controls. And, Michael Gove's comments just don't wash, do they? There's no way that we can have free speech if we are bowing down to these organisations, Ipso included.
But first, with the holidays creeping up faster than your aunt's fruitcake recipe, I've got something way better to share with you. The discount on this is going to be something you want to hear. So if you want to look sharp for all those festive gatherings, maybe finally win the Best Groomed at the Family Dinner Award, check out the latest masterpiece from Manscaped, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. Trust me, this is like Rudolph for your face, guiding you to a smooth, irritation-free shave. So let's dive into the goods. Here it is. Beautiful, right? The Chairman Pro. Armed with not one, but two interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. These are your grooming superheroes. The 4-blade foil for when you want that baby's bottom smooth, and the skin-safe stubble trimmer for when you want to keep some stubble but clean it up a bit. Both keep you looking sharp while minimizing razor burn and irritation, because nobody wants to show up to the holiday party looking like they lost a fight with a Christmas tree, right? But wait, there's more. The Chairman Pro has Flex Adjust technology, which is basically like the holiday miracle of shaving. Like Santa's elves made it just for you. The blades and pivoting head adjust to every curve of your face. I can tell you, I use it myself. It's very gentle on the neck area, as if they have the gift of foresight. So go ahead, kiss that awkward jawline patch goodbye. No more pretending it doesn't exist while you hope nobody notices under the mistletoe. And if you want even more precision, on the right side of the bracket, there's a precision lock. So when you lock it, the blade head sits firm so you can achieve a more precise shave. And here's something that's going to make your grooming routine even easier. The Chairman Pro is waterproof, so you can use it right in the shower. And the waterproof feature doesn't just make shaving easier, it also simplifies cleanup. Just a quick rinse under the sink and you're all set. The Chairman Pro isn't just for daily shaves either. It's powerful enough to tackle up to 5-day growth, making it perfect whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. And with up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, you'll have plenty of juice to go from Santa's beard to smooth as a snow angel. It even has a travel lock to help make sure it doesn't accidentally turn on in your bag, and an LED spotlight to help you see every detail, ensuring nothing gets missed. So get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. It has everything you need to keep your face looking and feeling its best all in one box. So head on over to www.manscaped.com. Join me and the 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. If you use the code Outspoken at checkout, you get free shipping and a whopping 20% off your entire order. Great for Christmas. So that's www.manscaped.com. It's a brilliant gift, by the way, if you're thinking of something for your hubby or your boyfriend. I know they can be hard to buy for. Use the coupon code Outspoken. But now, back to the show. No, indeed. And the thing is, you look at the reporting, for example, of that shocking case of Adam Graham. Do you remember this? This was the rapist in Scotland who ended up in a women's prison. And here you have the Guardian newspaper, and I've checked, I can't believe they haven't changed it. Throughout this article, they refer to Adam Graham as a she. Now, a couple of things on that, Father Phil. A she cannot commit a rape. It's impossible for a woman to commit a rape based on the legal definition of a rape. Secondly, there is a lot of evidence when it comes to Adam Graham that the cynical transition to become Isla Bryson was simply to end up in a female prison, was absolutely based on sexual orientation and the desire to commit more heinous crimes. And I think the media that gives into this ideology to appease the woke mob is despicable. Because I'm sorry, when it comes to calling a male rapist she, you have lost the plot. And it's not just The Guardian, by the way. They all do this now.
Woe to those that call evil good and good evil, and put darkness for light and light for darkness. And you know, XX and XY are biological facts. And I just don't know in what universe that people think that this, in what Be Nice universe, that this can be excused. I just can't get my head around it. I can't see it. Other than, you know, it's calling good evil and evil good, and bittersweet and sweet bitter. I just can't, you know, it's so obvious, you know, as day and night, and yet we are denying these facts. And there's no question in my thinking that there was an agenda here. And yeah, words, sometimes I just read my Twitter feed and I'm just speechless.
I know. But the thing is, Alan Miller, doesn't all of this regulation just actually end up completely undermining the future of the mainstream media again? Because the great thing about Elon Musk taking control of X is that we were allowed to start telling the truth about biological reality. I mean, you remember Graham Linehan was booted off its previous incarnation of Twitter simply for refusing to call a man a woman and a woman a man. He literally lost his account. But the newspapers are playing by the old rules. And what we're going to do in the online space is say, to hell with that. We're going to tell the truth.
Absolutely. I think the thing is that the days are numbered for Ipso and Ofcom. I mean, I think that the public can see, with Ofcom in particular, that, you know, it's not the same as goose for gander, in the same way that the so-called BBC misinformation, you know, they like, when they do BBC Verify, they like to use a Labour activist to give numbers of the farmers that would say it's like 500 families that are going to be affected. Then it turns out, oh, well, actually, that's a Labour activist that they're using, but they use that as a verified piece of information. Then they call what other people are saying disinformation and misinformation. It's become so transparent. It's so tedious. It's not even dangerous anymore. It was dangerous. It is what it is it's annoying, but the truth will out. And Elon Musk has done a remarkable thing on that with X now and with Twitter. But I think across the board, we've seen in the States with Joe Rogan, and we've seen what's happened with the presidential election and Tucker Carlson and a range of others, the smaller broadcasters that are doing that. And obviously what you're doing, Dan, and people in the UK are doing, from trigonometry to a whole range of other people. This is important, exciting stuff. Now, I want a note of caution. I think it is important that we have well-funded, long-term investigative journalism that is objective, but we see so little of that. The old days of Panorama and World in Action of 30 years ago is long gone. And so we have the worst of all worlds, really. We have a celebrity-obsessed, kind of myopic mainstream media that doesn't ever want to step outside its bubble. I think people saw that during lockdowns and constantly asking for more, longer, harder. Now we're seeing that again with a range of other issues, and people are fed up of it. And you can't keep calling the whole of the British public neo-Nazis or far right or phobes of some kind when all they want to do is live a decent life, earn some more money, have a safe environment, and have some things that are used to be just called common sense up until about 5 minutes ago. But you just attack them with contempt and disdain. It's not tenable. And, you know, like my son's just finishing university, a lot of his friends, you can see this discussion's turned. The idea that all the younger people are against, you know, they're all of a particular view, or they're all what they call what is now the left or the woke thing. It's just not true, right? There's a lot of young people that are thinking they're not happy with this idea that you must do this and you must do that. And a lot of the stuff that's been happening in our arena, the new spaces of media, have helped curate those conversations and discussions, help them thinking against some of that stuff. And that old bastion of legacy media is seen as being a bit of a propaganda machine. And I think the gig's up.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.